How about one more time? Let's blow the roof off this place. Is there any kids that like fishing?
Got some knot tying going on?
Yeah, we're trying to teach him how to tie the old fisherman.
Nice.
You twist it about 6 or 7 times. You run it back down here through the bottom part.
You guys are loading up with goodies, aren't you?
Yeah, I can record.
Okay, that's all. You ain't breaking that.
No.
Not even a 20 pounder's breaking that.
Monkey, no.
Will Hoffer. Come on down, Will.
That means people's been grabbing them.
Fish like to eat minnows or worms or crawdads.
Wow, these are the glitter. Fish like that.
Go on the website, check stuff out there. Where's Solomon at?
Right here. Right
Hey, we need to draw some names. We got one. Solomon Wall. Solomon Wall. Where's oh, there she is. Well, there you go. We're sitting there and we're catching fish left and right. I just can't step the hook. I'm having one of those days. Anybody that knows how to fish knows what one of those days are. You're not going to catch them every time, right? Gotcha. So we got about 10-15 minutes left on our trip. Now my dad's a pretty serious guy. When he says there's 10-15 minutes left, guess what? That's all. You're going home when that 10-15 minutes is up. So the fish stops biting. My brother's feeling so good about himself that he says, well, Corn, since you can't catch a fish, how about whoever catches the last fish wins the battle tonight? I'm thinking, at this time, I'll take anything. I'll take anything. So, time's running out. Dad yells, time to start cleaning up. I look out across the water, and my bobber's sitting there, and it starts to move. That means I have a strike. I got an opportunity to save my face with my brother, right? So I adjust myself to set my hook, and this is going to be the best hook set I've ever done. I need this fish. So I'm down in here and I'm grinding with it. I got my wide base, man. I'm ready to set my hook. I go to set my hook and oh, as if it's in slow motion. There's no fish there. So I thought. So I'm reeling my slack. I'm just disgusted. I haven't got a fish. My brother gets to talk trash all the way home. But as I'm reeling my slack in to put my rod away, I feel a little wiggle on my line. Reel it in, and guess what? It's a little guy. It's a little guy. I didn't catch the big fish, and I didn't catch the fish in numbers. But guess what? The guru won the battle. Okay, so it's not always about the big fish. It's not always about catching the most fish. It's about spending time with your family, friends, out on the water, and enjoying yourself. Thanks, you guys. Stay great. Thank you.
Awesome. That's what I want. Okay, I'm going to need 2 volunteers. Who wants to get up here? You was up first. Let me get a girl. There we go. Josie, get up here. All right, guys. My little segment here is basics of fishing. I'm going to have you hold that. Watching the hook on that. I'm going to have you hold this. All right, let's face crown. Can anybody tell me what kind of reel that he is holding? Open-faced reel. All right. Does anybody know what Josie's holding?
Bait caster.
Come up here and tell me, man.
A bait caster.
All right, a bait caster. Good job. Can anybody tell me why a bait caster is better than an open-faced reel? It's a trick question, guys. It's not better. Either one is perfect for what you're doing. A bait caster has its specific needs and a spinning rod has its specific needs. But what you need to remember is when you're fishing, it doesn't matter what kind of pool you're using, what kind of line or reel. The fish doesn't know who you are or what you're using. All you're trying to do is trick out particular fish. So it doesn't matter if you're using a button rod, a bait caster, a spinning rod. The fish don't care. So always remember that. All right. Thanks, guys. Let's give you guys a shirt, and I appreciate it. And give these kids a round of applause. Woo! All right, so back to basics of fishing. You know, fishing in general can get a little bit overwhelming and get a little bit technical, but the key, especially for you parents, is to just get these kids out there, take them fishing. You know, don't make excuses not to. An investment getting your kid into fishing is worth more than anything you could probably give your kid. So take them out, hook lake. There's all kinds of places, public water, tons of resources to get them out there. And you know, one other thing I wanted to mention is just you can get discouraged quickly. Like if you go a couple times, you don't get any bites. You know, you might not want to go again, but just remember to always stay open-minded and stay after it like anything. It could be like a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, crappy food. You go to a restaurant, crappy food. Well, you might go to the next restaurant, it's delicious. You found a restaurant. It's the same with ponds. If you go to a pond and it stinks, try a different pond the next time. And you're going to learn the little nuances and the things that you need to know to get better every time. And remember one last thing. A bass's brain is the size of a peanut, so they're not very smart. I think that's why I get along with it, because I'm not very smart. So you can trick them pretty easy, but you just got to stay after it. Other than that, guys, do any of you kids have any questions? I don't really have a ton of stuff to say, other than get out there and fish. What do you want to ask, buddy? Come up here. What's your question? You want to just ask me? All right, he doesn't have a question, but he's still pretty cool. All right. So thanks for coming, everybody. Let's give Saul and Chuck a big round of applause. This is absolutely awesome. The kids need this. And stop there with the teammates if you want to talk.
Thanks, Jesse.
Before I even get started, I can't thank all of the sponsors and the people who donated because there's too many. But this wouldn't have happened without the community support, the outpouring, the generosity, the love, the support. When I first came up with this idea, I said I'm just going to put it out there to see if I can get some backing, and if nothing else, my wife and myself, we were going to try to put this event on by ourselves. And I'm telling you right now, Chuck Berry reached out to me within a couple of days. So I got to thank him and his Southeastern Ohio show, outdoor show. And I brought this attention to my superintendent, Mr. Whiteman. And one thing that Mr. Whiteman believes in is that, and you see it when you walk through this door, that every child deserves a champion. And when I pitched this idea to him, he said, Solomon, you're going to be champions for many kids, so absolutely we can host this event here. So let's give a round of applause and a hand to all the sponsors, Foxfire Schools. Another thing I want to talk to you about before I get started is we need to clap and give a hand for all the adults out there that brought kids here today. Thank you guys so much. It's honestly, if I had to describe this event, or if I have to give words, it does my heart good. My heart is full of joy. That's what I would use. My heart is full of joy to know that these people in this community do care about kids and getting kids involved in the outdoors. When, who can tell me, I got a prize right here. Who can tell me my very first fish that I ever caught? Right here. What was it? No, my first fish, what was it? Nope, not a bluegill. Right here. Nope, not a bass. Right here. Nope, not a crappie. Right here. Catfish, here you go. My very first fish I ever caught was a catfish, and I was probably, right here, come here, I'm gonna give you a hat. I was probably his age. This is at his age right here, and I'll tell you, my dad was never around, but I'm so thankful. There you go, Ryan. But I'm thankful that I had an Uncle Greg when I was this age that took me fishing week in and week out. That's where my passion, that's where my love for fishing started. And as I grew older, all I wanted to do was fish. So it didn't matter if I caught a carp, it didn't matter if I caught a catfish, it didn't matter if I caught a bluegill, it didn't matter if I caught a crappie. All I wanted to do was fish. And the older I got, I realized this is my love. This is my first love. It wasn't about catching fish when I got older. As I got into my teen years, I started realizing that the outdoors was an escape from everyday life. That the outdoors was where my peace was. It didn't matter what kind of day or week I was having. I knew on Saturday morning my Uncle Greg was taking me fishing, and all of my worries, all of my problems, all those were going away because I was going to be in tune with Mother Nature, and I was going to be in the outdoors. So if I get into like my 14, 15 is when I really turned it up and started bass fishing. That's when the bass fishing came. I caught my first bass on a tube bait, and it just, something triggered me that day that I no longer care about all the other species of fish. Now I'm just focused on bass. So I studied. Back then we didn't have YouTube. I had Bassmaster Magazine, and I had Fur Fishing Game. So any chance I got to gain knowledge on bass fishing, up all hours of the night reading, I was getting information to become a bass angler. And my Uncle Greg continued to take me fishing. When I talk about fishing saved my life, I need you guys to listen up, because when I talk about fishing saved my life, as I got older, I had relatives and I had friends. that started making, this is important for kids, that started making the wrong decisions. And I'm telling you right now, those opportunities were there for me, and those opportunities as you get older are going to be there for you. But I'm getting emotional, but I had my Uncle Greg there for me every weekend. I wasn't worrying about out drinking, I wasn't worrying about out doing drugs. I was in bed early because I knew that my Uncle Greg was going to be there Saturday morning to take me fishing. And as the older I got, those people that I grew up with were making those wrong decisions over here because they're going to be there. I was over here worried about fishing. That was my life. Eat, breathe, and sleep fishing. And the funniest thing is, back then we didn't have cell phones. My Uncle Greg would tell me, he would pick me up Saturday morning. He would tell me, I'm going to be there Saturday. He didn't give me a time. He could be there at 6 a.m. He could be there Saturday at 10 a.m. So I never forget, I would get up 5:30 and I'd go sit on the porch at 6 a.m. This is how much I love fishing. I didn't know what time he was showing up. I would sit there from 6 a.m. until he got there because my love for fishing was that great. And the older I got, those kids that grew up with me doing the outdoors, even relatives, those negative decisions they made put them in bad places. But again, I continued fishing. I wasn't worried about everything else, and fishing became a coping skill for me. Fishing became an escape from life. You're going to go through trials and tribulations in life. No matter what you do, it don't need it. If it's the outdoors in general, if you are into sports, if you are into music, if you are into art, please have something that you can use when life gets rough. I prefer the outdoors. I'm in tune with Mother Nature. It's peaceful. But I'm telling you, in life, you're going to go through trials and tribulations. So gravitate towards something positive. Find a positive role model. What I'm trying to do here today is be my Uncle Greg to some of these kids. Because it takes you, I'm putting pressure on you adults in here, it takes you guys to get these kids out there and away from some of those negative things that's out there. We all know what's out there, and it's starting at an earlier age. But why not get these kids in the outdoors and around some positive people? So with an ending, my goal is to get backing from the community to start an outdoor club full of mentors that will take those kids fishing and hunting. That's my plan, that's my goal. This is one of the reasons I had this event. And last, the outdoors, the number one reason I fell in love with the outdoors is the outdoors didn't care what race I was. The outdoors doesn't care what age I was. The outdoors didn't care what religion I was. It didn't. You can enjoy the outdoors no matter what you are. So please, get these kids out, give them an opportunity. Let's get them making those positive choices. And I appreciate all of you guys. I'm serious, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you so much for coming out. One day, maybe you could share a story that said, hey, there was these guys at Foxfire Schools talking about hooked on fishing, and Bass Curtis told me that fishing saved his life. And I'm here today because of fishing. Thank you guys.
Woo!
How about that?
Yes,
Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a testimony we have just heard from Solomon Bass Curtis. The man speaks the truth, and I'd like Stacy Curtis to come up here, please. Stacy, right here, ladies and gentlemen, are two of the finest people you'll ever want to meet. And Stacy helps Curtis, and she helps make this possible. Thank you all for coming.